Hello, Gemini, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 11th through May 17th. And during that time, we will have a full moon that comes in on the 12th. And of course, that can be a time of heightened emotions, time to be overwhelmed, maybe a little bit anxious, snappy, irritable, and maybe you or people around you. But it's just a really time that we get to practice our patience and our calm, those little tests that are put before us. So keep that in mind. We will then move into the waning gibbous energy, which is, of course, that's kind of like a breath out. Like, if you're holding your breath during that full moon, it's like, so it's that self reflection, a time of rebirth, a really good time to make positive changes, get rid of bad habits or negative thinking. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. Your overall message card for this reading: nothing is yet set in stone. All right, this will be an intuitive general reading, Gemini, for energies that you may or may not encounter. So, of course, please keep that in mind. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. All right, card, you want to stand up there? There we go. And Gemini, as I'm shuffling, I would like to say that since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit that subscribe button. It really helps my channel, and it's super easy for you to do so. I will give you a moment while I'm shuffling to do that right now. Just hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and helping me build a community here. I really do appreciate that. Also, my weekly reminder this week would be that you learn something new. Pick a topic that you've had some interest in and just take time to really deep dive and focus in. Just set aside some time for yourself, maybe just an hour or two, and study, take notes, really take the time to think and really absorb whatever it is that you're learning. So sometimes as adults, we forget to really just kind of focus in on learning. I mean, I feel like we're constantly learning something, but just to really focus in on something that you've been curious about. So that is just my fun weekly reminder. All right, Gemini, May 11 through 17. Nothing is yet set in stone. All right, let's see what you guys have going on. Your overall present energy is awesome. It is the 10 of Pentacles. This is wealth. This is abundance. This is not only wealth in the material way, but wealth in the way of just like, family, friends, your surroundings. I mean, everyone is gathered in this photo. There's a little dog here. You can see, I think we've got children here running around, grandfather, it's just, there is just all abundance. So really, really awesome energy if you're sitting in that energy right now there. And your current situation is kind of feeling like you against the world. So maybe you're just working hard to maintain that, and just feeling like, you're still going at it. So that's okay. That's not a rare feeling, right? At the root of your situation is the Ace of Swords. So, the Ace of Swords is like a little mental breakthrough, some kind of aha moment that you've recently had. And so maybe it's making you think about this. It's making you think about this final push, towards this kind of generational wealth security, just making sure everyone around you is taken care of. This could be that you're kind of thinking that final push before retirement for some of you, that you're like, just you're almost there, it's you against the world, and by golly, you're going to get there. So, this could be something, maybe a project even that you're working on and you're pushing through just to kind of get to that finish line. But whatever that is for you, that's really just on your mind this week. In your recent past is the Knight of Pentacles. So it looks like there's been some sort of action here in your recent past in the way of, either finances or material things. This could be, a raise at work. This could be just some money come in. This could be a tax return or a bonus or just some kind of extra money that kind of came in that's kind of helping all of this along. Maybe it gave you an aha moment and you're kind of feeling like you against the world as you watch an investment that you've made, go up and down in the stock market. So, it could be just so many things here, but we've got a lot of pentacles here showing up in whatever this situation is for you. What is on your mind is the Death card. So, it could be that you are literally planning Not planning for your death, but it's inevitable. Everybody's going to die, and it could be that you are kind of in that mode of thinking. It's like, do you have things in order? Do you have a will in order? Do you have your finances all laid out so that people do know what to do, if anything should happen to you, or when something does inevitably happen to you. So, and that could have you feeling like you against the world, but it's kind of on your mind. And not only actual death, but this could be some sort of ending. So again, this could be getting to retirement, which is the ending of a job, getting to the end of a project, which is the ending of that project. But of course, with all endings like that, there's another beginning. So again, nothing is yet set in stone. It could be something that's wrapping up for you, and it's not set in stone, maybe where you're headed off here into the future. What is ahead of you, according to the tarot, is some indecision. Um, and not excuse me, not in a bad way. It could be that you're just in a place where you have choices and you're not ready to make a decision yet. So when I use the word indecision, that's not even really accurate. It's just not making a decision. Your eyes are closed, you're mulling things over. um you know and look what's behind you. It's just calm emotional water. It isn't choppy. You're trying to just make the best decision in the most calm manner. So if that's ahead of you this week, you may not get to a decision, and that's fine. But that's kind of what's ahead of you for this week, is at least thinking about making some decisions about things that you do need to think hard and ponder about. In your advice position is the Eight of Swords. So lots of swords coming up here. And this one, this is kind of your how did you get here? I need to think my way out of this thing. So this could be a situation where something is coming to an end, and you are going to have to just use your intellect, use your logic, use that sword energy, that air energy with communication to kind of get yourself out of this situation. And you might not be in a place yet where you're quite ready to make that decision, or you feel like you don't know quite what the answer is yet. But the advice is to think your way out of it. There is something here for you, and it's a challenge that's been put in front of you. And it's time for you to pick up that challenge, take it, and say, you know what, I can do this. I just have to think my way out of it. So definitely use that energy to do that. What is beyond your control this week is, yeah, a little bit of anxiety, more swords, all little swords coming out here with the nine. So we've got the eight and the nine. So it's something that is going to keep you up at night, and that's just beyond your control. There's nothing you can do about it. Whatever the situation coming in for you, again, if it's death that maybe you didn't see, an ending that you did not foresee coming, then yeah, it's going to cause you some sleepless nights and a little bit of anxiety, but you're going to think your way out of it. And again, you might not be in a place yet where you can make super big emotional decisions, or it's causing you too much emotion to make those decisions, and so it's okay to sit in that energy of not deciding. That's okay also. You can get there. You can take your time on that. What is your secret desire? What you're trying to avoid is the Six of Wands here. So you're trying to, well, a secret desire would be, this is about a victory. So are you trying to have a victory here, or are you trying to avoid that? I would imagine that it would be your secret desire is that you want to make sure that you're making the right decisions, that you're victorious in this thing that you're doing. Of course, you're feeling like you against the world, and here you're feeling like the world is cheering you on. So, can we use the intellect and the logic to get to that space, to get to that place where you feel like, okay, I've made the right decisions, I'm moving in the right direction, and the world around me is cheering me on about that. In your outcome position is, yeah, I think you can, because here is the Four of Wands with the celebration. So this here turns right into a celebration. I love whatever it is. I feel like it's going to work out for you. It is a change. Again, it could be about your material world, but it definitely involves your intellect, because there's just so many swords on the table. So there's a lot of thought and logic that's going to have to go into whatever this is that's coming in for you. Again, if it's this Knight of Pentacles, it's some sort of action on the material front. This could be, again, for some of you, it could be just a change of a job. It could be retirement. It could be wrapping up a project. But it looks like it's stressful, and you're kind of doing that final push to the end. But you're going to get to a place, you've got a lot of things to think over, decisions to make, but you're going to arrive at this place of victory and this place of celebration, which I think is very awesome, Gemini. Let's get a couple of final cards here from the Soul Oracle deck. Get final words for Gemini, May 11 through 17th. And again, your overall message here is nothing is set in stone. So even decisions that you make, it looks like that you can have a good positive outcome, that may also change over time. But it looks like, it is a good fix for the moment. All right. Raise your vibration. So always definitely something to keep in mind as you're going through something something like this where, things are upon you to make decisions. What is the best decision for you, for everyone around you, and for the world. So that's kind of a higher vibration way of thinking. This card came flying out, so we will take it. All things in moderation. So interesting here, Gemini. Yeah, you've got something coming up this week. It looks like you're going to get through the end of your week and you're going to be celebrating the fact that this thing that you've conquered, whatever this was that came up for you this week. Again, it could be in many different areas for a lot of people. It could be the wrapping up of a job. It could be retirement. It could be, or that you're thinking about those things and things you're making decisions that might affect those things. Could be the end of a project and the start of another project. So I hope there's something here that you can take away and use this week. If you're comfortable sharing, please leave me a comment down below and let me know, what is it? What kind of endings are you facing this week and new beginnings? I'd be real curious to hear what you guys have going on out there. So I do post readings every week. So come back next week, Gemini. We'll see if this situation continues to evolve or if there's just a totally new energy here for you. I will ask again, if you like my reading style, please click that like and subscribe button. It really does help my channel, and I appreciate that so, so much from you. Also, more importantly, it'll help you find me next week. So thanks so much, Gemini, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.